Hey guys, so today I'm going to tell you how to repair a refrigerator that cools for maybe, I don't know, 1 hour, 6 hours, a day, maybe 5 days, and then it stops cooling or it doesn't cool as much. Okay, so this is the refrigerator. It Yours don't have to look exactly like this. This is a GE. Where is it? Yep, this is a GE. It's right up here. Open the door. Here's the model number, serial number. Okay. All right. So, anyway, this one, like I said, it will cool for a couple of days. Also, I have the problem of this is the side of the refrigerator right now. This is the front. This is the side. I have the problem where it's bulging out. I don't know why they did that. I know some of them, it's kind of normal, like a little bit to bulge out, but it would still feel solid. But this one doesn't. Sounds like a drum. So anyway, I'm going to put this on pause and I'm going to go in and show you what I did to fix this refrigerator for a total of $8 to $12. Hold on. All right, so here's the board that's located in the back of the refrigerator. I'm not in mirror mode on my phone. This is my right hand and this is the right side of the board. Now, here is the original relay. Let me zoom in on this because this phone as is doesn't any words at all. All right, so it's that bottom number, okay? SRGS112DF. A strange thing is, this relay is, in my opinion, too small, and the amps is only 17 amps, which should be at least 30 amps, because a 30 amp relay will last longer. This refrigerator only lasted 5 years. So, thing to go was the relay. Now, don't go out trying to find a kit to rebuild this. If your refrigerator is about 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 years old, you don't need, you shouldn't need it. I can't, unless, it's like 1 in a million that you will need to change these capacitors at only 6 years old. These are 5 years old and they're still 90% good, which means, matter of fact, they're actually 110% good if you're going by the factory, because when the factory makes these or sell these, they say you can have a plus or negative of 20. So you could have a little more voltage or a little less voltage. And these were only, instead of being 20% less, they were only 10% less. So all of these were tested on the ESR meter. And they were good. I took this one out and it's also good. This one would probably last about 15, 25 years. I don't know why, but the large capacitors inside of circuit boards for, let's say, in this case, a refrigerator, they hardly have any voltage loss or UF loss. So don't bother changing that, definitely. I'm not sure. These are dark capacitors. Let's see. Yeah, these are purple. They're probably okay capacitors. Now, some capacitors have certain hours on them. For example, these could be 2000 hour capacitors, but they do sell 5,000 hour capacitors and maybe more. I usually buy the 5,000 because if I go over that, then I'm spending a lot of money, and sometimes it's just not worth it. Maybe you're selling a kit, or you're I guess if you're installing them for someone, yes, it's worth it, and of course yourself. Um, so certain cases they're not worth spending, $8 a capacitor, right? So here's what I've done. I changed the relay on here to a 40 amp relay. Let me see if I can focus in. Now I only did this because this is my board. This is my refrigerator, and I like to experiment with things. I like electronics, and I like to see if it's going to work or not. Let me see if I could focus. Phone is terrible. So that's the number. If you buy the same exact one, you can wire it up exactly how I'm going to show you how to wire it. Now you see on the bottom a little bit, well, in the middle to the left, it says 40 amps. Now this is 40 amps versus 10 to 17 amps for this one. And this is tiny, and this thing burnt up. I cut this open because I wanted to make sure that this was the real problem. So this relay is definitely bad. It's burnt. Now, two things could have happened to this relay to cause the refrigerator to fail. One is the contacts inside got so black and crusty and burnt that they didn't make contact at all. Okay, when they clicked together, there was no sort of like a switch action. So the refrigerator knew that, and maybe it does it a couple of times, and then the refrigerator shuts down, or what? I don't know what happens. Or it was it clicked on, and it made contact, but the contacts stuck together, so they wouldn't release. And then the refrigerator recognizes it, and of course it shuts down. Um, Most likely, if you have this board, you only have a few capacitors over here. Most likely, it's the largest relay on the board. Change that one out first. It's only going to cost you $8 to $12. Don't don't go changing capacitors, because let me tell you something. GE probably put high hour capacitors in here. I don't think they're going to buy 1,000 hour or 2,000 hour capacitors. I think they probably put at least 5,000 hour caps in here. Now, maybe if you read the number on here, you might be able to tell that. I don't know, but I didn't bother with that. When you buy a kit, if you buy a kit where it comes with all these capacitors and the relay, and it could come with all of these, it's all unnecessary. Unless you have a fan problem, a thermometer problem, a temperature problem, where the relay, you have a temperature gauge, temperature probe in the refrigerator and freezer. So it probably sends a signal to this relay. It tells the fan when to turn on, or it tells the little computer in here, this and that. These don't usually burn out because they're so small. They don't get, they not because they're small, I meant, but because they don't get a lot of power. Okay, but the big one does. The big one gets a big jolt of electricity every time it turns on, and that big one is most likely connected to the compressor. And in this case, I think I told you already, the refrigerator will cool for like 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours. 1 day, 2 days, and then it would stop cooling. And if you have a good sense of smell, you can smell that this is burnt out. All right, so you can do that test too. But I would just buy this, and then if you have your food in there and it's still staying pretty cool, but not as cool, then as soon as this comes, you take it out and you put it in. It should take you no more than 20 minutes for a person who doesn't know much or has soldered these out before. You will need solder wick, solder flux, soldering gun, and solder. You probably should, if you don't have a lot of skills and you don't work with a lot of electronics, you should probably just put the original back in. You'll get another, 3-5 years, hopefully. Uh, depending on what you get. I mean, this name isn't really so great. I don't know why they put this one in here. So anyway, let's get to this. Like I told you, this is a 40 amp relay versus a 10 to 17. It says 10 on the top here, but then it says 17. So maybe it's 17 when it first comes on. Maybe it can draw up to that, or it can, maybe it draws 15, but they put 17. You know, they always make this relay go a little higher than what it draws. That's how it lasts longer. So what I did was I got this relay, and this relay is usually made to power fans, like high amp fans, like for a car or something like that, something high amps, high power. And it's small. This is how small it is. It's a little bigger than the original. And I'm not sure if it has double contacts in here. I really like to buy one of these one day and cut it open and see if it has double contacts. That would be great. So here is my diagram. So this is the original relay, but it's from the top looking down, and the 3 are on the right, just like you see it here. Okay. And this one is probably a little confusing to some people, because some people can't picture in their head that when you flip it, everything changes. This E becomes D, D becomes E, C becomes B, B becomes C. So I have another diagram here. I'm gonna show you an easier way of it flipped. So original relay, okay, and this is the top of the original relay, and A, when no power is applied or the plug is out, A is connected to D temporarily until power is applied. Then the A will connect to the E. So when you apply power to C and B, it doesn't matter. You could take a 12-volt battery, 9-volt battery, you put it to B and put it to C, and this will click on. And then you put your meter on diode, and you'll put it to A, and then you'll put it to D. Before you connect the battery, you could put it to A and D, and you should get a beep. So what you really want to do is put it to A and E, apply power to C and B, and you'll get a beep. The relay will click on, and it'll complete the circuit. So this is the new upgraded relay. Again, this is from the top down, and this is how it connects. As you see, one side of the relay is bigger than the other side. Okay, so that's how you would have it. Okay, that's looking from the top. That's how it would be. The big side would be up, and then you'll hook the C to D, B, whatever. All right. This is the easier way. Oh, let me tell you, this is the model number of the board I'm working on, but it doesn't have to be the same. Most GE boards that look like this board, and it has the large capacitor, basically you're going to do the same thing. So you can, like I said, you can change the relay, make it easy for yourself, put the original one in. If you want to put a 40 amp in here and make it last forever without your food going bad, then this is what you want to do. So top of circuit board, right? So this is the circuit board, the big square. These little lines are just resembles these connectors here. Capacitors, this thing, transform, transform. I just draw a little diagram so you don't get confused that I have the board upside down or anything. This is looking at the board just like you're looking at it here. All right, don't let anything I say confuse you. It's very simple. I put letters here for you. You just connect the letters to letters. Now, this is the circuit board looking straight down. This is exactly how you'll see it. These three will be to your right, and these two will be to the left. And this is how the relay is going to be. This is how I have it here. See? It's got the bigger side on the bottom and the smaller side on the top. And that's how it is here. Okay, so you turn your relay upside down, and then you start soldering your wires. Very simple. Look, E, right? You're going to put E to here. See, this is the smaller side, and there's two contacts next to each other. You put it to E. And then D, you connect it to D. And then B. It's so simple. Just take a picture of this diagram. I'll hold it steady as I can. Hit the pause. And then, sometimes the screen will turn black. So just do whatever you have to do to make it bright again. Like if you're using a TV, like a Fire TV, you go up with the button, I think, once, and then it makes it, bright again. Or, see, on a phone, maybe you'll have to hit the picture or the video again, and then it makes it brighter. And then take a snapshot. If you're using your phone, or take a picture if you're using your TV. Okay, print this out. And after you do this, just go over it, one more time. Say, okay, let me see if I connected the wires right. Okay, never assume that you connected the wires correctly. Now, don't forget, the relay is upside down. Bigger part is facing you to the bottom. All right, so let's see. What else do I want to tell you? Okay, so I got this relay from Amazon. The original relay is very hard to get, and I don't think you want to buy this name brand and this white relay again. I mean, if yours failed in 4 to 6 years like mine did, I wouldn't buy it. That's why I'm putting this in there. I put the thickest wires I can. I cut these off of, I had an old plug for a computer. It was the positive, it was like the 5 volts, 12 volts, and ground. I just cut those wires. And, I'm going to push these down, but I'm going to be very careful. Now, here's one more thing you have to do. You have to, these wires, when you twist them, I don't think they would fit into the hole of the board. So you can take a very tiny drill bit, and you can go with your fingers, and you can go like this around. You can make the hole slightly bigger, and I mean slightly. It's got to be slight. Or what I did was I took a bunch of, well, I had a bunch of, what was it? Oh, diodes. Okay, were fairly big diodes, maybe about that big, at least. And I cut the legs off. And then I put the legs in the board, and I soldered both sides with as much solder as I can. And then I put flux on the end of the wire, and then I put solder on the wire itself. Then I put solder on the legs that I cut from the diode, into the board. So now I just soldered them on. And before you put the relay, what you want to do is you want to put shrink wrap over. You'll need 5 pieces of shrink wrap. Okay, and then you'll want to put 5 more on there. Then solder the wires onto the relay, because those second pair you're going to take and you're going to flip them this way, and you're going to cover it up like this. Now I'm gonna put this probably maybe right here, I guess. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get two-sided tape, and see there's a spot right here. I'm just gonna put a square as much as I could fit in there, and I'm just gonna put this right there. But I'm not gonna, I'm gonna probably put like 2 pieces of the two-sided tape, because I don't want this low. I just want it slightly, slightly higher, but it can't be higher than this. Okay. So you can, you can go all the way up to here. It still fits in there. This is about the same size as this. Yep, same size. So that's it. Two-sided tape, and it doesn't matter if the two-sided tape comes off. Okay, because the board goes like this. So what's going to happen? It's just going to hang down. All right, this will hit the cover. As long as you got it covered, and you're good to go. What I would do, and I think I'm going to do, is I'm going to put inside the refrigerator on the cover. I don't know if it already has a plastic shield. It should have it. Some of them don't. It's just metal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bunch, maybe like 5 layers all across on the inside of the cover of tape, some kind of tape. You don't have to get heat tape. You could use box tape. It's not hot in there. It's warm in there. It's not hot. All right, so I'm gonna put a bunch of that, or I'm gonna put maybe I'll put a piece of plastic inside there, just in case this falls down, and I mean it can't touch. But in your case, if you're unable to get the shrink, heat shrink over it like I did, because I had to cut a slit under the heat shrink, that then I could move it forward. So make sure you do that, because if you try to push it forward, it's not going to work. You got to cut a slit. So you cut a slit and then turn it so the slit is on the bottom, and you push it through, and that's how I got it covered, pretty good. All right. So take all precautions if you want to do this. If not, like I said, just change that relay. All right. I think that's it. All right. See you later.